Hey everybody, this is Freddie with Superbike Unlimited, and I'm not really sure how we're going to piece this one together yet because we're halfway through shooting a video about building the A-bike, but we decided that we had a really great opportunity to go ride with our friends Sport Bike Track Time at Road Atlanta, and we thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity to just do a nice little shakedown on this motorcycle because we've got some updates from Yamaha, we've got some new firmware that we really need to test and get some data on, and we also just need to gather some data on the motorcycle to make sure everything's working as expected. So it's, what is today, the 6th? July 6th, and we're at Road Atlanta. It's about 100 degrees outside, so we are already a little on the miserable side because we've been enjoying our nice air-conditioned office, but it's gonna be a really good day. Weather looks like it's gonna be awesome for today. And we've got Jason Waters riding. He's over at the riders meeting right now. He is a MotoAmerica racer, primarily runs the BMW platform, but super talented and very analytical motorcycle racer, so he's going to be perfect for giving us feedback on this thing and just going out and putting laps in and trying very specific stuff that we want to test today. So and he's also happens to be a lap record holder, which I think is a nice little qualifier for jumping on a motorcycle like this. He'd probably hate that I mentioned that, but I think he's going to be a really good guy to go out and give us some feedback. So we're just going to work through a few odds and ends. The first couple of sessions are literally going to be diagnostic, so we're going to send them out and just basically have them do a few laps, get used to what the motorcycle feels like, and then come in and we're just going to download, make sure everything looks okay, and then we'll start trying little steps with electronics and other things and making sure that we're progressing through this new electronics package. Better. Yep, first few sessions are definitely going to be kind of debug.
Yeah, hopefully we get a decent day tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will hold out. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think by the end of the day we should be able to get some pretty good stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions about the way anything works on it?
Yeah, if you want to show me just how to do the neutral and all that stuff, just I'm sure you just flip it up like a choke.
Yeah, so Martin, is it the, this is the race position that it's in now, correct? All right, so we're at lunch, and the first half of the day, honestly, has just been a lot of sort of troubleshooting and just getting the motorcycle out there, looking at data, resolving some issues. We had a little bit of brake fade, so we just went through the braking system, made some adjustments there, rebled the coolant system because the bike was getting kind of hot as soon as we came off track. And then just doing some diag. We see the GPS isn't picking up on our system right now, and we're working directly with some of the guys at the factory Yamaha program in Italy, and they've been super helpful and helped us identify that it's a hardware discrepancy between what we're using and what they're using. So they're quickly rushing over a calibration update that'll fix that for us. And so far it really hasn't been about setting a fast lap time, but more or less just Jason riding the bike and kind of getting up to speed and how it feels and how it behaves. So how do you feel about it so far?
Yeah, it's awesome. I appreciate the opportunity from you guys for sure, and it's been cool. It's a cool experience, and just like you said, just trying to make sure the bar's in the right spot and levers and all the good stuff just so you can start actually riding the bike like you want to. So I think it's good that working through some little issues and getting to that point to where we can actually start trying to push into some good times and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got some GoPros, so we're gonna try, once we get to a point where we're happy with how the bike's running and as long as the weather holds out, we'll try to put a GoPro on the bike and get you guys some onboard and kind of see what it looks like from his perspective. The thing, even, it's funny, I was looking at the data, even though he's basically just getting a feel for the bike, I looked on the back straight, the thing was still doing 180 miles an hour, so it's a pretty crazy racetrack. You know, if you guys have never been here, it's a pretty hard to describe experience. You're basically turning the thing into a bend right at 180 miles an hour, so yeah. It'd be cool to get some on board. But yeah, we're gonna keep working through and we'll have some more updates for you soon. right, so we're making some really positive progress. We've made a lot of really fruitful changes on the firmware. Really happy with the direction that thing's going, and we're kind of just tailoring power delivery, wheelie control, traction control, these things to the feedback and feel that our rider is giving us. You know, he's looking for certain sensations in certain corners, and we're just tailoring all that to what he's showing us and what I'm validating on the data. And on the other hand, we have a rider that is a former pro motocross racer, and that means he uses a lot of rear brake. And what happened is he wound up completely shagging a brand new set of brake pads and spitting a pad out of our caliper. So that did a little damage to the rear caliper, and we want to still gather a little bit more data before the end of the day. So we're going to send him back out with no rear brake. We've just removed the entire brake system on the rear temporarily, and we're going to service that, get everything tightened back up, and see if we can get it set up for tomorrow. Because we're near the end of the day. We've only got one more session after this one, and I don't think we're going to have enough time to bring that back up to spec by the end of the day. But bike's still going to be perfectly fine without it. Rear brake is kind of optional on a super bike. We have so much control with engine braking, I don't think we necessarily need it, but we're just going to keep chipping away and making steps.
It was better. It didn't do it as much. I did it a couple times still. Just when I get the front end light, it would do it.
Okay.
You know, which is typical, but
right.
I think if I can get that under control,
okay,
then it won't do it. But I mean, the brakes were pretty good, so I was progressively feeling more and more confident on the brakes because they weren't. They weren't.
Would you say that you were going kind of the same limit where you felt them starting to fade last time?
Yeah, I didn't push into it like really hard in sections, but I like started ramping it up, and it seemed like it was.
Whereas maybe the last session it would have started fading.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like when you turn the wheelie control up, it stopped wheeling. It's pretty.
Well, so I turned it up, but it still wheelies over 5.
Okay.
And
not much though. I mean, your data is way better right there.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Do
yeah.
you see me still blipping the throttle right there though?
Yeah, but not like you were.
Okay.
I mean, this is like 100% better than it was previously.
Yeah.
So we'll still keep working on it, but
the engine braking is awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Like, so the engine braking, like I can actually start feeling it. So like it not even having the rear brake, I'm like, okay, I can push this engine brake in.
You can feel it. Yeah, it's good news.
Yeah, and it was slipping just like the perfect amount. It wasn't locking the rear up or anything like that. It wasn't a little bit in some of the slower areas, but that's fine because it's slow anyways, and
we can adjust it in just those areas if you want. If you felt like it would help you push into those turns, you know.
I mean, it's doing it. Yeah, they're just a hair. But I kind of like it there though, Freddie.
Leave it?
Yeah, because I come through here, I can carry momentum through here than I'm carrying now, and I get on the gas really hard there before I brake. So when I go off the gas and go into first, the engine brake is helping really good there.
What about here and here?
So here, I almost think that we could probably do more coming into 10A. Either that or I need to get more aggressive on my shifting.
Yeah, you can downshift earlier.
Yeah,
if you like.
So maybe we can look at that, but I could probably downshift a little sooner to get into the engine braking a little bit better because I think my RPMs are pretty low when I downshift through here.
Okay.
And that's just me. It's kind of my protection measure of the bike, I guess, a little bit. But then 12, I think we can maybe back just a hair out there.
Open it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense because
it'll help me roll. Yeah, and it'll help me roll through there a little bit better.
Looked like it was really good wheelie control here now.
Yeah, so down the straightaway, it was great. I could put it on the lock. And then engine braking going into 1 was good, so I can charge in. I need to go into 1 so much deeper. Here, I'm still timid because I don't have my back brake and still just trying to get through the head shake. Is
it still head shaking a bit?
A little bit, yeah.
You want to close the clicker a little more on the damper?
We can try it.
2?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just wheelie 11 and wheelie here. I'm really go in and I get off of it. But what I noticed is if I ride better, instead of getting the bike stood up, and if I leave it still at a lean angle,
absolutely,
I control the wheelie better. I mean, which is inherently going to happen because you don't get on the fat part of the tire. But but I noticed that I'm trying to adjust a wheelie based off me standing the bike up, and then it's coming in. If I run the race line and keep it laid over, it handles it.
100%, yeah. All right, so we're going to be wrapping this up here in just a few moments. We're basically just going through the bike, doing some end of the day maintenance and adjustments, but really positive first day. Jason really enjoying riding the motorcycle, and I think it's his first time riding a real superbike, so that's always kind of a lot to process, but he's handling it really well, and he's kind of followed our directive really nicely, which has just been to sort of work through the process and not just go out and just go for a time attack. And we're really happy with the setting that we've ended up with. We've addressed some major stuff, and we've come away with some positives, because when we came here last year with Westby Racing, there were some weaknesses in the electronics and in the setup on the bike that we were kind of fighting over the weekend that we made really good steps with at the end. But I feel like we've taken that information a step further already with this test, and I'm really excited to see kind of where we end up already. But I see a big improvement in certain weaknesses that we had here last year with Westby. So that's really good. What we're gonna do now is basically just go through the brakes, go through the suspension, make a few small changes on the setup there. We're gonna soften up the bike a little bit in the rear, try to help with some of the wheelie stuff, and just help the bike find a little more mechanical grip, and we'll just see what Jason has to say tomorrow. We're still running our B-spec brakes. We may put on our A-spec system. We're still kind of talking about that, but what we are finding is that with the B-spec brakes in here at Road Atlanta, which is a really high speed and hard braking racetrack, that we're kind of overheating our braking system a little bit. So at the very least, I think that we should follow suit again with what Westby did and consider adding some cooling ducts to this system to better support these high temperature, high braking scenarios, give the rider a little more consistency on the brakes. So that's something we're probably gonna start working on when we get back to the shop, is developing a 3D printed cooling duct for the braking system. So that'll be a fun project to work with our guy Blake, who's the mastermind that helps us engineer a lot of this stuff. So what we're gonna do is just wrap this up, and we'll hit it again tomorrow. Hopefully the weather stays dry for most of the day, and we get some more good laps in.
I don't know, do we have to know?
All right, so this is Sunday morning. We're just going through a few small changes on the motorcycle, made some adjustments on the braking system. We're gonna try, because Jason uses a bit more rear brake than what we've dealt with in the past, we're gonna try some different rotor options. We're probably gonna use that Brake Tech floating rear that's sitting on the bench back there. And he's not used to having a motorcycle that has such a tunable and capable engine braking system. So the goal will be kind of to use less rear brake on corner entry versus what we were doing yesterday, just so we can further develop that engine braking system. That's something that we're talking about. And I think that we'll make some steps if we can do that. And then we're just gonna make a few setup changes to the bike, specifically on the shock. I'm just gonna change the spring and the preload a little bit, just to test some things, to see if we can get some improved wheelie and drive grip stuff. It's working fine the way it is, but I'd just like to make a change and see if it's any better. So that's what we're gonna do next, and then we'll talk with Jason and go over the adjustments on the motorcycle. All right, so we're getting ready to start the day. We're gonna do the first session just on a set of scrubs, just to see how the, well, they're a little more than scrubbed. A set of used tires would be a more accurate description, just to see how the bike feels with some of the changes that we've made. And then for the next one, we're gonna put on a set of new tires. And yesterday we actually never put on a soft rear tire because it was kind of just a development day. Today we'll run a softer compound, which I think will be interesting to see how the bike reacts to that. And I think it's possible that we'll see a pretty good performance improvement with all the changes that we're making. So that's what we're gonna work towards. What do you think about yesterday?
It was awesome. The bike's amazing. It handles, it goes, you think about it and it goes there. So, I mean, I think we made some really good improvements. I think that the bike has a lot of potential. I think that this bike's a podium bike, superbike podium bike with the right rider on it. I'm privileged to ride it and happy that I can be a part of this. But the bike, as far as that goes, the suspension is amazing. You don't feel bumps. It's very confidence inspiring on the edge of the tire. I think suspension changes we make today maybe give us a little more traction. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you think about it, and this bike does everything well, like really well. It's pretty incredible it's very confidence inspiring, you know. So I think today will be an even better day with some more time on it, and I think that it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, me too. What do you think from yesterday to today? What's the biggest thing you'd like to see improve?
I just think with us putting good tires on it, I think going with a little bit softer rear spring to get a little bit more rear traction, just because it makes so much, the initial horsepower, the torque that you go to, it's so instant and right there and ready. So I think by doing that, it will get the bike to fire off the corner. It lunges off the corner already, but I just think that we can maybe get that a little bit better and then start backing some PC out, because, you know, for me, we put a little bit in there for a safety factor, you know, so that I didn't sling your Superbike down the road. So so I think we can start backing some of that off and getting. So I think that there's just a combination of things.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to work on. So yeah, it'll be fun. And I think we've got some GoPros charged up. So once we get everything kind of dialed in, we'll put a GoPro on the bike and give you guys a look at the perspective of what it looks like for him when he's out there doing laps. right, so that's a wrap. We just finished the last session of the day. We were a little worried that the weather was going to catch us out. We had some lightning and some rain that kind of interfered a bit, so we had to stay a little later than planned, but we worked through a whole bunch of stuff, put on a fresh rear, probably overcooked it a little bit, waiting for the weather to clear out, and then went out and did a run. How was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. The bike, we made huge improvements from the starting point of the weekend and all the way to the last session of the day. It was just constantly progression, and the bike's amazing. It does pretty amazing things, and you work really hard on the wheelie control, and that makes the bike very rider friendly and very much to be able to handle all that power and be smooth. Pretty blown away by what that bike is capable of doing.
Yeah, I was honestly really happy with what you did. I felt like, you know, first time on a super bike, and it can be a lot getting used to the electronics, but I felt like you did a really good job of adapting to the assists on the bike and kind of working into the package. So it was fun, honestly. I had a good time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate all the guys. Thank you all for y'all's hard work and giving me the opportunity to do this. And like I said, you put together an amazing motorcycle, and I'm privileged to be able to ride it. So thank y'all.
Oh man, it's been awesome for sure. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again.
Cool.
So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. We've got some footage. We did get the GoPro on the bike, so we'll go through there and put some laps in. But I think that's going to do it for this one. We're all super hot, ready to pack up and head home. So we'll see you next time.